Meet 16-year-old Agnese Martini and 13-year-old Davide Toneguzzi. The teenaged Italians are the male and female yoga youth world champions. Yoga was developed in India over 5,000 years ago. Over the past century, particularly in the West, it's become more secular, transforming from an activity of spiritual discipline to a popular form of physical exercise. Yet, while yoga as a sport may seem unusual to many Westerners, yoga competitions have been held in India for thousands of years.
A lot of people think that yoga isn't a competitive sport. They think it's only about meditation. I prefer not to talk about the competitive side of yoga with my friends unless they ask me about it.
When I participate in yoga competitions, I do it for me, mainly so that I can challenge myself. I'm not particularly competitive, so I don't really take part to win.
I see competing as a way of challenging myself in front of other people. It's good to test myself and to see how much I've improved.
Both Davide and Agnese hail from Pordenone in the northeast of Italy. Pordenone was the location for the 2016 Yoga World Championships, which saw over 100 athletes from 19 countries showcase their talents. Competition organiser and vice president of the International Yoga Sports Federation is Roberto Vanin. He set up the Italian federation 4 years ago.
It was such an amazing event for the community. Pordenone is a relatively small city with about 100,000 people. However, during the competition, there were all these athletes walking around the city, in the town centre, in the parks of Pordenone, just practicing yoga and holding positions everywhere you turned. You even had locals going up to the athletes and taking photos with them.
At the championships, Davide and Agnese had 3 minutes to perform a routine consisting of 6 asanas, or postures. Their yoga teacher, Nicola De Simone, explains how the Italian teenagers both clinched first place.
Each position needs to be held as still as possible for at least 5 seconds. They both performed the key poses really well, and what allowed them both to get high scores was performing the more advanced, difficult poses of their choice. At the championships, they proved that they have excellent focus. At an event like that, you need to prove your strength, flexibility, and balance. You need to display all these 3 elements for a successful routine.
Before the championships, I trained really hard with Nicola and the other guys who took part. It was an amazing experience for me, and winning it was a real surprise. I have to be honest and say that I didn't expect to win.
Davide and Agnese practice yoga around 3 times a week. Training sessions, which last around 2 hours, start with a series of moves with some breathing exercises to warm up the body. Agnese discovered yoga through her mother. The 16-year-old started the discipline 10 years ago. Since then, she's won national, European and world championships.
I love doing yoga because I find that the outside world is a bit hectic and life can be full on. Here, you only think about yoga. You have to be 100% focused, otherwise you won't keep up with the session.
Agnese is a naturally skilled yoga practitioner. She has shown her natural ability to me ever since she was young. The first time she tried my yoga session, at the end of the class, she closed her eyes, crossed her legs in the lotus position, and started meditating. It was really spontaneous of her.
Davide discovered yoga at the age of 7, but only took it up seriously 3 years later. He took part in his first competition, the Italian Yoga Championships, when he was 11.
I would say that the scorpion is my favourite yoga pose. I just seem to identify with it.
Davide has fire inside of him. He really loves training. He's very motivated and is not scared of giving his all during our sessions. That's something I really appreciate. Davide is really sporty. For instance, he's a very good skier and he also likes cycling. In fact, he's even about to enroll at a specialist sports school.
Davide's other main passion, aside from yoga, is cycling. He started cycling this year and is a member of his local club. The 13-year-old believes that yoga has given him certain skills which he's been able to transfer to other sports.
I'm not exactly sure what I want to do in the future yet, but what I do know is that I'd like to be doing yoga forever. And if yoga ever becomes an Olympic sport, which I really hope it does, I would be honoured to take part in the Olympic Games as a junior and then as a senior competitor.
Next month, Davide will be heading to Prague for the European Yoga Cup. It's an event run by the International Yoga Sports Federation, who are aiming to develop yoga into an official Olympic sport. Whether competitive yoga gets accepted in the Olympics or not, it's clear that the yoga movement here in Italy is growing.
Our goal of the Federation is to showcase yoga throughout schools and at events to really promote the sport. We want to help young people understand what yoga is and what the health benefits are.
Competing has been incredibly positive, based on what I've seen so far, having worked with many young people. It's always healthy competition. They are challenging themselves, and it's wonderful to see them encourage and be happy for their yoga teammates, even if one of them has scored higher than the other. They appreciate that what they are doing is challenging, and that they are true athletes.